The blistering heat of the cremation chamber contrasted sharply with the cold silence of Clara, lying motionless on the metallic stretcher. To everyone present, she was dead. Her closed eyes, pale skin, and lack of a pulse seemed to seal her fate, or so they thought. However, as her family grieved the loss, a miracle was about to unfold, one that would not only change her life but also challenge everyone's understanding of what it means to be alive. Clara was a 27-year-old newlywed living what seemed like the start of a perfect life. During her honeymoon at a tropical resort, Clara suffered a severe allergic reaction to a dish containing peanuts, something she didn't know could be fatal for her. Before the doctors could intervene, Clara went into cardiac arrest. After hours of resuscitation attempts, she was declared dead. Do you want to know where this story goes? Before we continue, if you want to help our channel keep bringing amazing stories, give this video a like and subscribe. If you enjoy it, turn on notifications to know when new videos are released. The news devastated her family and her husband, Pedro, who couldn't believe what had happened. Her body was released for cremation, honoring a preference Clara had casually mentioned in life. Just 3 days after her death, Clara was taken to the crematorium. The final preparations were completed, and her body was placed inside the chamber. However, as the staff began the procedure, an unexpected sound echoed through the room. Screams. Desperate screams that seemed to come from within the chamber itself. The operator hesitated, thinking it might be an equipment error or his imagination. But the screams grew louder and clearer. "Help! Get me out of here!" The room descended into chaos. The staff rushed to halt the process, opened the chamber hastily, and found Clara alive, gasping for air and visibly in shock. Her eyes were wide open, and tears streamed down her face. She repeated over and over, "I'm not dead. Please don't let me die." Clara was rushed to the hospital, where doctors confirmed she had suffered a rare case of catalepsy, a condition that mimics death by drastically reducing vital signs. While incredibly rare, Clara's case became national news, transforming her into a symbol of medical miracles and caution. But Clara's return to life was far from the end of her ordeal. When Clara returned home, she expected comfort and support from her family. Instead, she was met with doubt and disbelief. Many, including some of her closest relatives, questioned the legitimacy of her experience. Some claimed she had never truly been dead, while others accused her of fabricating the entire event for attention. Pedro, her husband, tried to support her at first but soon began to distance himself. He admitted, in a moment of vulnerability, that he had started to accept Clara's death and couldn't process her sudden return. "I already said goodbye," he confessed. "And now you're here, but everything feels wrong." Moreover, Clara faced the psychological trauma of nearly being cremated alive. The sound of the metallic doors closing, the rising heat of the chamber, and the overwhelming despair were etched into her memory. She began having recurring nightmares, waking up in the middle of the night screaming for help. Therapy became a necessity, but even so, Clara felt that no one truly understood what she had endured. Things worsened when the crematorium decided to sue Clara's family for emotional damages to their staff. They claimed the incident had traumatized their team, especially the operator who nearly activated the furnace. To Clara, the idea of being held responsible for something that almost cost her life was absurd, but the case attracted even more public attention and criticism. As public opinion divided between those who supported her and those who accused her of fraud, Clara decided she needed to tell her side of the story. In an emotional interview on national television, she detailed every moment of what had happened that day. She described realizing she couldn't move, hearing the sounds around her while dead, and the desperate relief of being able to scream before it was too late. "I came back, but I'm not sure I was truly accepted back," Clara said, tears streaming down her face. The interview went viral but brought even more scrutiny. Clara began receiving messages of support from people who believed in her, but also hateful attacks from those who said she should have stayed dead. Friends who were once close began avoiding her, considering her story too frightening. Even within her religious community, where she had been active, Clara became seen as a symbol of something supernatural and unsettling. Despite everything, Clara decided to use her experience to help others. She began writing a book about what she had gone through, not only to share her story but also to warn about the dangers of premature medical diagnoses and the need for greater care in post-mortem procedures. The book, titled Between Life and Death, My Fight to Return, became a bestseller, turning Clara into a voice for those who had survived traumatic experiences. Even so, Clara knew she would never be the same. Her relationship with Pedro ended, and she decided to move to a new city where she could start fresh away from prying eyes and judgment. Although she continued to battle her trauma, she found strength in her new mission, ensuring no one else would endure what she had. The video ends with Clara's serene voice narrating a reflection. "I came back to live, but living was never the same. Life is fragile, but it's also a gift. Every day I have now is a second chance, and I won't waste it." Want to know more about this story and many others we still have to share? Then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Every day, a new story comes straight from our mysterious archive, filled with tales and accounts we've gathered from various sources. Cases with stories that will give you chills. Also, don't forget to share this video with that friend of yours who loves a good mystery.